164. Let's do something a little bit different, which is I'm devoting this episode entirely to news because it is a pretty big news piece. And I figured, hey, let's take a little bit more time to talk about it. And I'm sure that when I do my next weekly episode with my co-host and wife, Elle, we'll talk about it more. But I wanted to go ahead and get some thoughts out there about this, which is the casting of Robert Downey Jr. in the next Avengers films. This has all happened in the last couple of days. I think it was previously announced that the Russos, who also directed Winter Soldier, Civil War, and then Infinity War and Endgame, would be coming back to direct these next two Avengers films. But at that point in time, Robert Downey Jr. had not been announced as coming back. But that took the internet by storm these last couple of days, and I feel like I've heard everybody talking about it. And it's all the buzz, and there's a lot of opinions going around. So this is tough because, firstly, I love Robert Downey Jr. Nothing against him at all. I think he is a great actor, not only as Iron Man, but I love him more so, honestly, in non-Marvel roles. Like even in Oppenheimer, amazing in that movie. And so I've followed his career for a long, long time, and I'm always happy to see him in anything. But what seems to be for the people who are not happy about this, and I'll say I'm not happy at this point in time, maybe that'll change. I would love to be proven wrong later. But as of now, I am with the naysayers. What's most frustrating, and it's not just Marvel that's done this, a lot of people have done it in various ways over the years of recasting the same people or bringing them back too often after a character has died or whatever. But to me, this feels like the biggest, most shameful cash grab, the most blunt commercial pick that you could ever have. Because, first of all, Robert Downey Jr. is Iron Man. He's not some supporting minor character in the MCU. He is, like I said, he is the face of Marvel in those first phases. And we saw him die as that character, like we saw the rise and fall of that character and love that character. And we saw how he interacted with everyone basically in the MCU. And the fact that they are bringing him back, not as Iron Man in a earlier point in time, like they did with Deadpool and Wolverine recently, which that I'm fine with. Even though we saw Logan die in Logan, I'm fine if they want to bring him back in a earlier point in time. It's not saying, oh, here, he actually lived. Let's put him in Deadpool. That's fine. It's the fact that we know him as Iron Man, and now we are having to see him as a completely different character within that same universe. And to me, that's like casting Chris Evans or Chris Hemsworth as like Spider-Man or something. That just feels so, I don't know if tasteless is the right word. And maybe I'm in the minority here. But because Marvel, for the most part, not totally, but they have been financially struggling a little bit since Endgame. They have some hits and then they have some that don't do that well. They're so clearly in need of a box office draw that I can promise you when they sat down, like Kevin Feige and all them sat down and said, all right, who are we casting as Dr. Doom? I can promise you that Robert Downey Jr.'s name did not come up by saying, all right, who is the best actor for this role? It is, all right, we've been struggling. This movie is going to cost $200-300 million or more. Who can we get to bring people back, get them in seats? Oh, Robert Downey Jr. It's not, I can promise you, of all the actors in the world, was there no one else that could have done better than him? And I know that regardless, Downey Jr. is surely going to do a great job in that role, for sure. Nothing against his performance at all. But that, of all the choices, of all the creative choices Marvel has made, this feels the most phony, commercially driven that they've ever done. So this information comes from Variety, written by Tatiana Siegel. One big thing with Robert Downey Jr. coming back is his non-negotiable condition, which was to bring back the Russos, which that's fine to me. If they want to have the consistency of direction of storytelling for the same sort of structured film, that's fine, because really they're behind the camera and they were successful in that already. So hey, let's bring them back. That I don't really have a big deal with. I would love to see someone else tackle these big movies, but I think that they're going to do a good job. I don't really have problems with that. But it's the fact that, well, one, they're being paid upwards of $80 million together, the brothers are, for this. And then apparently Robert Downey Jr. is getting even more, so maybe close to $100 million, plus all of these back-end royalties that is, God knows how much he's going to make. And then in this same article, they said that he so far has made somewhere between $500 and $600 million. And so it's like, all right, he does not need to have more money, which I know that there are plenty of other actors who require an insane amount of money to be in movies, and it is what it is. I don't think that's ever going to change. But not even the money. I think that Robert Downey Jr. himself, when he was offered this role, I think he should have had the thoughtfulness to say, my time in Marvel was Iron Man. That character died. My time in that universe is over. And that gives, to me, that gives respect for that character and for just his time there overall. And so I think that it was not only on the fault of Marvel offering him this, but also Downey Jr. accepting it. I don't care how much money it was. It's purely from a creative standpoint saying, no, I'm not going to do that. Thank you for the offer. I'm okay. I think that, to me, that should have been his decision. That's just me. Let me know what you think in the comments. Would love to know what you think. But that really just rubbed me the wrong way. And I'll still watch it. You know, I like Avengers. I'm going to go see it. I'm sure he'll do a good job, like I said. But it is shameful at this point when you're paying someone close to, you know, it could be over $100 million for 2 movies where he might not even show his face in this. And I don't think that, sure, he is a draw, Downey Jr., that is, but I don't think that, because he has plenty of flops in his career, blockbuster and not. While, yes, people love him as Iron Man, I don't think that him being in this movie in another role is necessarily going to drive people to want to go see it. I mean, sure, there will be a good audience who'll be like, oh, he's in it, I'm going to go see it. But I don't think that they really thought it all the way through in that way. Like, it's not just Downey Jr. that makes his success what it is. It's also Iron Man. And then, not to rag on everything too hard, because at the end of the day, it's just Hollywood. There's not much to be done with big actors who are most of the time now the draw for audiences. We just recently had the writer's strike within the last year, and I'm sure that the writers who, I'm guessing it's the same people who wrote all the other Russo Marvel films, I'm sure that they're going to be coming back too, and I'm sure they get paid a lot of money for it. But considering how much ridiculous, shameful money is being given to these 3 people, the Russos and Downey Jr., it really is kind of disgraceful that they will publicly say, here's 80, 100, $200 million for these few movies to star in a movie or 2. It's not, here, let's make sure to give writers and make an announcement of, here, we're going to start increasing writers' salaries or crew salaries, whatever. It's all for the actor, all for the director. So I am really very turned off by all this. As much as I love everyone involved, the business aspect of it really is not a good fit for me. And thankfully, it seems like I'm not the only one. I just wish they would let Iron Man and Robert Downey Jr. be in that role. Let us remember him as he was then, not to see him again. We don't need to see him again. I don't care who the actor is.